Yeah,
We're really jocking his. Yeah.
It's like good too, right?
Yeah. It's as deep as it needs to be, dude. Absolutely. Okay. Where did I click? Yes. All right, cool. Boom. All right, man. Might need to give it to him.
Attention, hot private. This is the War on Comics. I'm Colin.
I'm Omar.
Today, we're slowing down a bit. We've in the past kind of been breaking up like the exchanges and then the books, but today we're doing as our piece by piece our how do you eat the elephant segment,
Or the aardvark.
reading through the whole series of Cerebus. We're on 5, Jaka'S story. This one we slow down. We're just talking about this book this time around. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of widely considered the pinnacle of the series.
I could see that.
Well, mileage may vary. We'll see as the story goes on and comparing it to what's come before. But it's worth kind of really chatting about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely something about like authorship and just generally having a vision and being able to execute it is like an art, and that's kind of what we get in here.
Deep authorship. I feel so. All right, should we just get into this?
Let's get in.
Let's go.
Man, there's so much to get into on this one. Cool.
All right, so how did you feel about this one?
This is where I think Dave Sim is at, I would say, the height of his powers. He knows his story, or at least I don't know if this is documented, but like, does he do a sort of Marvel method style kind of thing?
I think I'm trying to think of the exact. Trying to plunge the depths and see if he's ever talked about his creative process. I know he said at the end of Church and State Part 2, he was like, I had a blank page. I didn't know what to do, didn't know where to go. This is what happened.
Yeah.
So I know that he would just draw the characters and then hand the pages off to Gerhard, who would do the backgrounds. So it was split up in that method, but there was no one inking other than Sim inking his stuff, Gerhard inking his. It's not Marvel method in that regard, but as far as like how it's plotted and all that, I don't know, but
because that would be similar to something I've seen in like the Jaime method. Like, he does panel for panel. In the story,
writing them out first or sketching them
when he's writing everything. He writes in comics form already. He doesn't, and that's, I think it's documented. I have it in a couple different books where he talks about his writing method, and neither him nor Gilbert have a full a written out script.
Okay.
They just kind of go in comics format. They go, okay, I think it needs to feel like this from this moment to this moment.
And this one's, the format of this is pretty interesting because there's these text pieces that are essentially from within this world, something they call reads, which is kind of comics, because they're text with these pictures. So you're reading the quote-unquote read of Daughter of Palnu, which is based on Jaka'S, and is written by a character we'll meet later in the story. So it's very meta in a sense.
Definitely, it's like a play on a lot of levels, and it's sort of like a novella, like how. Do we want to get into spoilers just yet?
We're talking about, if you're clicking on this, you've read this. I don't know why I'm messing with this. This is going
to... these moments where, even this, going back, from taping this tape, we don't have tape, but from taking the video, I think I'm like about 40 minutes from finishing the story.
Yeah.
And so, like, seeing the nurse,
right?
Because the Cyrenus got me all fucked up.
Yes.
Okay, the Cyrenus got me all fucked up in this one.
And in a way, it's sort of like a meditation on pacing, because this is after you've just read this huge metaphysical, conceptual thing of Cerebus ascending through the astral plane and talking to a godlike stand-in, having all his questions answered, and essentially failing in like a really epic way, as far as having this tower that ascended to the sky crash down. And basically, while he was off Earth, you saw this takeover of the Cyrenists conquering kind of these lands and imposing their kind of theocratic method of government. And you're sort of seeing Jaka'S, who we met before, as this sort of freewheeling libertine dancer who was also, I guess, a Cerebus Nepo baby, right? She's what's is Lord Julius's niece,
the Marx Brothers guy. Yeah, yes, he's the niece. Who that is also. There's a moment in here
where he
shows up, and that it like both threw me off, but then was like, yeah, this makes fucking sense that this would happen. Like all of these. The thing I took away from this is how you can make stories almost about they're self-referential. Like I don't think you can read this on its own. You would have to have read like either from Church and State on to like really be able to pick this up, and it's better for that,
Yeah, it's like this is kind of the uphill battle of being a Cerebus fan, because I would say this is the book where it becomes art in a sense.
Okay.
This is like, I think, published still like Sandman hasn't really caught its stride. We're in early Love and Rockets mode. There's no 8-Ball, there's no hate. We're like still in the 80s, I believe, when this is published.
Yeah.
There's not much else on the racks like this. Vertigo isn't like this yet, not consistently, and it's a great achievement. However, to appreciate any of this, I feel you really do have to read a bunch of barbarian aardvark stories, about 4 volumes worth of them, which, if you are the Vertigo Comics, relationships, kind of
interweaving storylines, kind of like, all of that.
So it's like, if you like the people person stories and the very small, quiet tales that take place mostly in a room, mostly in dialogue, you're not really going to be too excited to read a bunch of, comics that start as a Conan parody.
It's an ask.
But my feeling is, and I guess my question to you is, if you want to validate this or not, like, don't you feel redeemed when you're reading this? Like, oh shit, I'm so happy I had that background. Because to your point, you can't tell this story of these quiet lives of desperation without this crazy lore-driven world building front-loaded in it. And I don't know, I think the seismic shift in tone is like great. I think the literary level that this reads at is phenomenal. How is it for you reading this?
It's this isn't usually something that I would really be like pulled by. This is getting into a kind of this higher, like you're saying, he's making its form. Right. This is getting into Cerebus form, because there's hardly Cerebus in here, which is it. But the amount that he puts in of his main character, it's just enough. Like you kind of get just these cutaways that'll happen later. That is just like adds just enough to the story, where he's becoming like his own form of storyteller, and that kind of carried me through the whole route. Because I mean, some of these like ideas are pretty. You don't have to like suspend your disbelief or anything like that. It's just like you have to kind of be like, oh, follow me on this. Like,
yeah,
kind
you have to.
Kind of thing.
It definitely only exists in the world that they built,
Yep.
especially as we get towards the end. It's like, all right, this is unfathomable without this background of these warring religious factions, etc. I mean, I'm just imagining picking like a single issue up off the shelf, and it's just some lady I don't know, kind of the breadwinner of the household of sorts, sort of aggressively going at it with her unemployed bummy boyfriend, and then these walls of text with some illustration next to it. This is sitting on the shelf next to New Mutants.
Damn,
we're talking, Cable and Deadpool are going at it, and this is next to it. And, you're reading the story of a little girl and a rocking horse, and, I don't know, what do they call that? The gilded cage, right? She's sort of trapped and terrified of this in this world, which I do believe they do a great job kind of communicating the dread, I guess you would say, of living in this kind of royal household, and
kind of like the insulated vibe, like the insulation of wealth,
right?
And like it's just for these times, and I think even now, like people just accrue wealth to kind of hide themselves off in a castle, and like this almost is giving me that the Pan's Labyrinth vibe at the beginning, where there's like this little bit of like surrealism that's going on with like a kid psychic kind of thing, and like getting the story through the her childhood like doll. There's layers here in the storytelling that I think are pretty like fancy. Like they're pretty fucking. They're elements that are being used to great effect. Let's say.
I mean, again, as a single issue, of a book called Cerebus, a fantasy story. We've seen this woman, passive aggressively wash dishes. We've heard some of her childhood story, which isn't exactly fantastical. It's not like she's an escaped slave child with dead parents. It's not like going Disney on you. It's just she's rich and she's neglected and she's sad about it, and her childhood was terrifying. And I think it kind of, to her, there was some existential dread at a young age, and it closes with her just seeing the doll, which brings her back to her childhood, and like the weight of that trauma weighing on her. And once again, this is the funny aardvark with a sword comic,
who will be introduced like shortly. This cold open kind of thing is. So was this a single issue here?
Yeah, that's issue.
Shit,
that's it, part one.
That's an ask of your audience, dude. Honestly, that's huge. That's pretty.
And Sim's on record saying like this was the challenge of the series, was having people like buy into these single issues, and like, I mean, come on now, like zooming in on this small tableau of sorts. This is like, I think, on the edge of the tower that ascended and split off, so it's like on this mountain ridge, dude, completely isolated, and there's
like
the titular hero
coming onto this dusty town. This is giving to me like how I want to liken it is like Robert Rodriguez a little bit, like when he's doing like fucking
the Desperado guy coming strolling into town.
This was just fully like, and even just the shot before, like this could be Dave Sim becoming like more cinematic, or even just like fully fleshed in the world. And this poor Pud right here, like this fucking Pud.
One of and it's beyond like just talent in terms of like how good he draws figures or how good the proportions are. Coming up with this literary device of Pud's inner mind and like his dialogue and how increasingly ominous it gets. And I don't know, that going back to this very small isolated slice of the world that you see on the front page, like, of course he's kind of spinning, his gears are spinning and he's losing his mind slowly. And he's like
the donut shop keeper in Wayne's World.
Yeah,
a little off.
Cracking, but so isolated and become an obsessed. Clearly obsessed with Jaka'S, who's what you call it. The dancer at his tavern, and he's of course the only woman around, so he's fixated on her. She's married. Cerebus has this gold coin, which is a trope I really like in this story, and pretty much any story where like inflation hits so heavy on an item, which Pud realizes like to properly value the coin, it would like cost more in like terms of like making change for it, etc. So he basically is just forced to give him everything he wants
with one gold coin.
Yeah, which is of course before this Cyrenus Reformation. The great reunion of Jaka'S and Cerebus.
Can I ask what? So, I kind of did I looked back into some of the Wikipedia stuff of the previous issues. What is the connection?
Nothing. It's just
okay.
I mean, you see that in the first, like the first appearance, I guess. Like, because I'm rereading that now, knowing what it turns into.
Okay, yeah.
And it is just he kind of comes onto her while he's drunk, and she thinks he's cute, and that's it.
Yeah.
But there is no like deep, from what I could tell, some deeper like past life kind of thing. There's just some fixation that he has on her and she has on him, and the whole bit in like High Society where he brings them. Where she brings him his sword back, and
that part,
it's like
that's the deepest connection I felt they've had.
It's
so
for
far.
Sure a suspension of disbelief kind of thing. I guess they do some decent like development in terms of showing Cerebus working his feelings towards like Sophia, who's someone who chases him, but he's not really interested in. They kind of show that Cerebus in this reality kind of could have anyone or doesn't seem to be in want of companionship, but his fixation on Jaka'S seems to transcend his just typical greed, and it isn't the kind of Pud-like obsession with her. There's some sort of reciprocal nature. But I would say it's maybe you just have to roll with it.
At this point, it's like this is how the story's going. Because there's some moments where I think he's like, the reason why I brought up the whole Marvel method thing is there's moments when I think the story is clicking while he's making it, and like it's almost as though like there's page for page. There's not these crazy changes that are going. In this insane, like it's not like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna drop some crazy lore right now. It's almost like, no, this is an important detail actually about this character or about this setting. Even like I think he thinks in that term of like creating his world top down.
I mean, he says he has like notebooks filled with like the lore of the world and everything like that. So in that sense, before he started writing, I think even High Society, he had really worked on like the history of Istarcion, their kind of world. Little creepy drawing of the kid. It's always pretty effective. And Dark Horse. It is definitely a fleshed out world in that regard, in terms of back matter and all the Cyrenists and revolutions and different breaks in the religion or whatever. But as far as issue to issue, I don't know how thoroughly plotted out it is beyond him just saying there's going to be 300 issues and then having the rest come to him. But the last time she did say she was pregnant, and that kind of set Cerebus off. He's like, okay, well, now I guess you're truly not mine. But then it turns out that she had a miscarriage of sorts, and she's still married to this guy, but this is kind of giving Cerebus some kind of hope again. Again, we're kind of sad. Cut back to the obsessive Pud kind of rehearsing in his head the dialogue, cut to the daughter of Palnu book. Like these methods of storytelling are just...
It's kind of like, dude, did you guys ever read the Mary Shelley Frankenstein
I've never read it, no.
Dude, so she came up with this method And I don't know if this is what he's doing, or because I know he's into Oscar Wilde, and they ran in the same circles actually.
Right.
So Mary Shelley has these kind of boxes that she writes in, and so there's one box that is one person's, I guess, view in the story, and it adds a layer to the story. And so in adding characters, she's adding or taking away layers, and in that way it's like what I see kind of going on here. Like
you're seeing the same events from different characters' perspectives.
Yeah, and it's in a way that I think it's if you did this with a camera, you're interviewing this guy, there's a one shot, and then it's cutting to the other person, and that's like a one shot or whatever, and it's kind of like this weird juxtaposition thing that happens. Here it's like they're woven in together, and it's an easier flow.
And yeah, I think, like, to your point, a camera couldn't really have these alternative formats unless you really wanted to be bougie and have, like, some shots in black and white and some shots in color and yada yada. But like the format of the text is different for the inner dialogue. The format of the text is different for the read. And then, of course, the comic book art is in kind of standard comic book language. Well, I wouldn't say standard, because you don't really get this level of like dialogue, and man, just how fleshed out these interiors are. Like, this is a very real space. And essentially they realize they have to kind of shelter Cerebus because he was the previous pope. So of course he's public enemy number one to some extent of this kind of horrific Cyrenist government that we hear about but we don't see.
So is that Rick there?
No, I think this is back to her. I think it's the horse.
That's the horse, right? But do you see a face right there?
Yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying.
Because now I just see him here.
Yeah.
And then, like, is that... So we can bring it up later on.
She's like spinning around, I guess. And that's why this is like so blurry. A face appears, born of winking sunlight. So
is this like... okay. I know we'll get there later, but I have a note on... I think the person who's writing this is inserting...
the things that he would know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this isn't... You're reading this as if it's fact or a reliable narration of what's happened, but really this is all an invention of the Oscar Wilde character who... Just kind of skip ahead and get to... Here we see Jaka'S getting ready for work, which is about, it's a really kind of depressing life, because she...
Well, the explanation of it later is like,
she gets set up to dance at this tavern.
This whole section.
At a completely in a completely abandoned town, so there's not really customers.
She's dancing to nobody.
It's more or less an exercise in futility, and here we have the bit where she's a kid and gets her head injury from spinning around so fast, and here's Cerebus in his room just overhearing these. It's so claustrophobic. It's so paced. But
it's nice. It's such a cool... Up till this point, there's been a lot of experimenting with time. I don't think we've gotten this kind of time dilation or like weaving through things, because all of this stuff could be happening at the exact same moment sometimes. So like there's that level to it where if you're kind of paying attention in a way, you can see that it's like he's... I don't know. That adds value to it to me. Like that's like it gives it more of a lived-in world feeling, I guess. Like,
yeah, and I think it is all. I really do think it's a story about pacing, or just seeing pacing in action, because you're hearing like Cerebus just kind of knocked out, overhearing snoring, more of the Jaka'S book, and he's overhearing their domestic disputes and their fights. I mean, imagine you're obsessed with a lady and you have to hear her with her man, kind of coitus interruptus of sorts, and he's relieved that he doesn't have to hear the full thing because she's not really feeling it that day.
And he's been forthright about that as well. This is kind of gnar.
Yeah, he's a little fellas, we've all been there. Fellas, you know how it is when the lady doesn't want to get busy and you just hit her with that frosty
nice.
You know how it is.
Good night.
And I mean, that's like such domestic marital issues, like not really displayed dramatically or anything, but just dry, just like nihilistic. This is where I'm. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
where she starts to see these shrimp for no good reason,
and then never comes back. No. It's like just it's moments like this where if you were to tell somebody about this and break it down, like if I were to give you an elevator pitch, this wouldn't come up at all.
No, you're leaving this out. This is kind of
as nothing.
Bit of a Lovecraft moment, right?
Yeah,
where it's like you see the world between worlds because she has this, head injury. And I mean, this is a lot of text and a lot of ink given to, a girl's head trauma.
Yeah, man. We're going in.
Yeah, we got, again, just day after agonizing day. Cerebus kind of breaking down how his feelings towards her. Jaka'S just point blank kind of shutting him down, telling him explaining the convoluted deal with the coin and all that, why it's too much wealth for it. This is such a sweet panel. She's telling him she's not going to run away with him, blah, blah, blah. He's overhearing it. He overhears her say, "I love my husband." It's like, all right, come on. Give the guy a break here. That expression of satisfaction. And again, it's not over the top. It's a very, very quiet, very close, very small
very
story.
Real story. Very real stuff.
Old Rick putting together that Cerebus is the Cerebus of Pope fame, and kind of realizing he has to go by a pseudonym for this.
He's not the quickest. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Rick.
Supposed to just be kind of a sweet guy. You can sort of understand. I think any woman could why she might like this galoot.
It's kind of like the slacker vibe.
And particularly when you see how she was raised around such opulence, like maybe all those kind of material things wouldn't be so much important as just being a genuine guy. And he is a very genuine guy. I guess he's kind of ripped too. That doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, that's why it's more boy toy vibe.
For sure. And hence,
this was cool.
Hence the breadwinner element.
All these moments are nice.
Yeah, and this is I think Sim studied a lot of fashion magazines, and hence he would get like actual reasonably good outfits and like kind of unique hairstyles, or as opposed to your average comics artist, particularly superhero comics artist, where it's just
that face, like that looks like a supermodel cartoon face. It's like not like on what they would say is like on model, like realistic.
Right.
It just has the cartooning like that you would see in magazines from like the 30s and 40s and stuff.
Yeah, very like fashion sketch kind of.
He's an old school kind of guy.
What do we got? Yeah, again, this is a lot of reading. This might not seem like much, but like when you're in it and you're reading it, it's like, all right, I want to get to the fucking comic book already. Give me those 6-panel pages.
This one's tough, and it does pay off in a way, in like a meta way on top of it too, where you got to get through it to kind of understand what this guy's getting at.
And basically, as you're kind of seeing all these different formats of storytelling and everything, you're kind of catching the pacing at this point. And for me, this is like, you're all in at this point. You have earned every panel of joy you can get out of this, because he doesn't really worry about, like, I don't know, acclimating you to the world. He just sort of throws you in, and you figure it out as you go. And like, You get there. Look at this. Here's your big action splash page. It's Cerebus overhearing them fighting.
It's so good.
Falling in love, hearing it. There's some domestic fallout there. It's just like,
but it gets so good.
That's the big point of action.
Right here's the second
right
moment to that.
The pang of frustration, hearing them make up and realizing he's probably not going to walk away with the girl from this one, and then having to hear him really go at it. The tears welling up. I mean,
it's so thick. That's crybaby tears. Right, you
could call it petty. You could, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's a very, very real experience, a very human experience, and
again, realistic. Like this is an aardvark, and you're feeling for him at this moment.
Here we're introduced to the great Oscar Wilde stand-in character. This is essentially the person who's been, as you find out as it go along, writing the text parts of The Daughter of Palinur. You see him kind of dealing with his publisher, and he's kind of a bad influence on Rick. He's super flamboyant, a little bit effete. Implied that he's more or less got a crush on old Rick, or maybe let's just say finds him charming in a simple kind of way,
right?
And maybe is less is interested in Jaka'S lineage of sorts, but maybe has a bit of let's just say he has a disinterest in women, so he's not going to be as interested in what charms Jaka might have as opposed to Rick. This is a great moment. Substance eat your heart out here. Yeah. She realizes she has to go, chew out the Oscar Wilde guy. So she, is trying to go out, but then she realizes she looks a mess. She has to get kind of done up just to chew the guy out because she realizes he's, a fancy lad.
Yeah.
So here she is changing out, cleaning up. This goes on for pages and pages while they have a conversation. And the Oscar Wilde style dialogue is very good. Like, it's, it is. I don't know. You read Oscar Wilde stuff before?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like thrilling to read. I feel. I love his dialogue. I love like how overly clever it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little obnoxious to read now, but like in its time and from him, it's like genuinely clever instead of an attempt at being clever. Here's a girl just getting herself together.
It's still happening.
So yeah, it only really works, like I said, because he's actually able to convey this kind of dialogue.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I love this character. I think he's such a
so funny,
snobby lord type, like an artist and all that. No, I think you see maybe why Rick has the appeal to him. I think
if you're like the buff guy,
if you're cut like this, maybe you don't have to be bringing the big bucks.
And that's why the hot dummy, like of this town, everyone's down for the hot dummy.
Hey, you said it, brother.
I think just a note on the. This is my favorite. The next one, I'll point it out when we get there. But the caricatures and the satire moments of Oscar Wilde, and later on, like the Thatcher character, they are funny. But I think they add this whole, again with the layer, like they kind of pull you in a little more because you're reading it in that voice, but he's like, this is the voice that you should read it in.
Yeah,
like this is this kind of person. So like he's pulling those pop culture references, not just for like comedic ends, but like for the story. I think that's high level.
Whereas you've heard recordings of Margaret Thatcher's voice, and you can kind of put that accent on her, and he's kind of writes the language out in that way. Oscar Wilde, you're just kind of imposing this like kind of voice on it, but it's so distinct. Probably to your point because of the caricatures and how they're drawn. And look at here's Pud coming out and just picking up the cigarette butt, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been discarded, and that stone cold, kind of ominous feel. That's like straight from a slasher movie. You could kind of see what's going on where who he's sizing up.
I just noticed this. The MacGuffin.
Yeah. comes into play later.
Right in there.
And he's still got a. Oh yeah, I think he comes over. Yeah, basically, it's him coming over and bothering. Jaka doesn't want her man hanging out with him for probably a lot of reasons, and he's just kind of has to figure out ways around it. I mean, again, this is this is your Hulk and Wolverine fighting, duking it out section of the book. Dude. She's he's kind of saying
the umbrella. Sorry, this just got me right now. The umbrella movement. Whoa,
crazy. All the rain sequences are great. So basically, he's like, oh, hey, so Rick can't come over. Okay, well, I'm going to sit and watch you fucking dance all night.
Yeah.
And she's creeped out by him because she's kind of up to her neck in aristocracy. She kind of sees him for what he is. So she's like, all right, you go fucking hang out with Rick and let me goddamn work.
Let me do my work.
They got this stare off here, this passive aggressive off. And
it's very interesting.
This is perfect. You get to see him actually get to hang out with his buddy and him just eyeing him up. It's they never goes too far,
right? It's this detached admiration, but he's also just using him. He's squeezing him for every detail that he has, or even just every thoughts that he has on
going after the gossip and kind of getting background information for his book that he's writing, as we find out. Pick up the pace here, and here's old Pud just eyeing up Jaka in her see-through dancer's outfit.
Right.
You just feel, I don't know,
it's the salaciousness. I mean, he's the way he repeats the same phrases over and over again. That shit is creepy as hell.
Yeah, it's and it's never overdone. He's never doesn't bring out the machete and start chasing her around or anything. But you just you definitely know what's going on because they spend so much time with his inner dialogue.
Well, this is the era of gentlemen or whatever. They always say. They always kind of say, "Gentlemen don't do this. Gentlemen don't do that." They're all kind of held by these rules that no one is. There's this weird Gestapo. If I can even, I don't know, say that. There's just Brazil. The movie came up a lot in this story for me, and especially as we get closer to the end, there's it's so funny to me that just before this, Cerebus traveled to the moon on a mountaintop.
Now we're just slowly
and this world
agonizingly slowly watching him just pass time kind of in hiding, and this kind of play where we're getting a little bit more information at a snail's pace. We're going through this, reading more of Jaka'S backstory as it's portrayed. Everyone's relationship with each other.
There's one right there. He's a gentleman. Comes in for an ale once, twice a week. One ale, no more. Like I said, a gentleman. Because the Oscar Wilde character is trying to squeeze some info from Pud, and he don't play that shit.
And a little creep.
Oh, dude, that is so weird.
Straight up spying.
They see him. That's so weird, dude.
Man, this is actually a great spread of POV stuff. This
super cool. Super cool.
Wait, come on now.
When he crawls under the fucking bar, that's so good.
Little fucking weasel.
Oh, this is where I just want to point out where he tells him about the guffin.
Yes.
The thing we were talking about earlier, and it turns out to be their undoing, I think.
I mean, who the hell knows? It's such basically, it just seems like a small, as played in the story, it's a small thing. Oh, we're going to paint this little...
This shit got me too. Mop bucket water.
Oh, yeah, look at that. This is sort of the twisted reflection. Don't move, Jaka, please. I'm not going to hurt you. That's given that you've had this many pages of him just kind of being seemingly harmlessly leering at her, now you get the real thing, the broken reflection, and don't move, Jaka. I'm not going to hurt you. inner thoughts are getting a little darker,
They're more demented. There's like a weird, it almost feels like there's a clock running down.
Yeah.
And you don't know what is happening or why.
And yeah, it's not really...
These moments are awesome, man. They're arguing from a far off point, and like he's just so smug.
Everyone just wants these people to split up, kind of. There's this pressure on their relationship that they are unaware of.
Poor kids, dude.
But what a kind of play of sorts. Her just saying how sick she is of this, gives some sort of inclination of wanting to get away, and Cerebus is like, yeah, you should,
just egging her on.
Come on, like,
yeah.
The different kind of fantasies too. You have the leering kind of possessive types versus just
the autism type.
wholesome Cerebus just wanting to get held.
Yeah, man. But he kills people.
Yeah, no. We've just seen him. We've seen him throw babies and chuck old guys off of cliffs. But here you see
this is what he really wants, man.
And you just want redemption for the guy of sorts. And more of this just killing time around the house, arguing, leering, thinking, this obsessive kind of leering.
What they would say in that Tim Curry movie, the anticipation. You know what I'm saying? There's like a little bit of that, the dramedy, or I don't know if any of this is. I was laughing sometimes, like it was a little too thick, for me, just personally. Like story-wise, it's great, but it was like, oh man, this is some Shakespeare level. That kind of stuff is funny to me.
Of course.
But it's so like,
I mean, that's classic cartooning.
I guess that's what got me, is all these moments, like, oh my, like when they're keeping score.
It was an obnoxious game.
13 versus 14.
This is it. This is my pick of the litter. It's him sort of trying to figure out his writing, and it's a whole page of him just looking at the page and realizing, taking a comma out, and like, I don't know, man. I'm no Oscar Wilde, but like, I've tried writing before, and this is about the pace I go at. Like, this is. Yeah, they're playing games over here. She's in the tavern waiting for customers who will never come. This facade of a job. Like, everyone's in their own little corners, just kind of occupying themselves. And this is just, again, it's an exercise in pacing. It's an exercise of seeing when HUD is going to snap. Like, it's given so much room to breathe.
Yeah.
Getting sick on him, and because he's so frustrated with these scenarios.
And then we get back to here. It's like a blink and you might miss it kind of vibe.
Putting the comma back in, look of self-satisfaction,
which he had just taken out previously. There's this one has a lot of stuff going on that like I love. I love it.
The POV Jaka'S drunk coming home. We're kind of blacking out of sorts. And then, so now we're at the Guffin, which is, they're in kind of a pagan ritual of sorts where they paint these things in kind of, I don't know, I guess just sort of ancient ritual, which now has become an act of state defiance, given that they're,
they are Cyrenists.
Yes, they're under Cyrenist rule. So any religion that isn't of the Cyrenist orthodoxy is sort of stamped out. But the Oscar character has an affinity for that. And here's where Pud, you've kind of fallen in love with this Oscar character by now.
Yeah, you like how he's very anti.
Yeah.
Very fucking anti.
And just, he's funny. So it's like, of course you like him. And then when Pud, who you hate because he's a leering little creep, calls him a sodomite, the correct
he corrects him.
The correct pronunciation, Withers, is sodomite.
Sodomite. Sodomite. That's some fucking. I bet you somebody from Image has copied that face.
Yeah, that's definitely like a clown would throw that one in. Perhaps you'd be so kind as to think of an appropriate term for yourself.
Oh, man, he's laying into it.
Tell me you don't have a voice in your head when you're reading that kind of overly posh style. A lot of reading, folks. Come on, everyone. You want to fucking watch some... You just want a bunch of splash pages.
Yeah, this isn't for you. Holy shit, this broke my brain, dude.
Or Julius shows up who you haven't seen in 2 phone books.
This isn't... And the lore that gets added to him and how in this moment, this guy who hasn't given a shit about anyone.
Right.
Now kind of is like, oh... It's you, you're the king, and then
basically he's under the impression that Lord Julius is the one they're hiding in.
Right.
Thing, and not Cerebus, and so he's in this Bugs Bunny style disguise that Julius is wearing to again avoid the Sirenists.
Gets him to do a wet willy.
On
himself. That's total Looney Tunes, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Why'd he go in on this ass, dude? What is he doing?
There's not a lot else going on. Are you gonna? Might as well.
Dave, my man.
You gotta give.
This is so good, though.
All the caked up Oscar Wilde fans, they got to give him some fan service.
We need some of that. Yeah, dude. This all why was it so convenient for one? I don't know. That's where I was you just gotta go with it.
Yeah, for sure.
There's something happening here that's on a different level, and it's myth. That's where I think it's intersecting with some Shakespearean literary action. It's kind of mythical.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, it is more like a play than it isn't, given the few places that it takes place in. And Oscar Wilde was a playwright too, so I'm sure in the importance of being earnest, wasn't that him? That was his big play. So I'm sure Dave's reading these plays while he's kind of researching the character and maybe picking up some of that structure. Here's Jaka'S ashamed of throwing up on her and kind of saying how much she appreciates him and yada yada yada. Again, unbeknownst to her what a creep he is. She's sort of willingly oblivious. We get
this was kind of tough out here.
Yeah, she's kind of coming into her own as a dancer, and as a teenager, sort of the origins of that. We're seeing the MacGuffin get painted, and we're just again more. He's getting to play out the dialogue he's had in his head this whole time.
This is real, right? This is actually happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not in that single shot. So it's not there. The dialogue's actually unwinding, and then you have the first character who isn't since the Oscar Wilde. I guess since the Lord Julius too. Yeah. Such a few amount of people show up in this, but a random passerby comes to the tavern, gets the dancer exactly what he wants, and then. You bet your ass, Grandpa, and she gives him this dance, and here's Oscar Wilde kind of going back and forth with his publisher, and
kind of this is her passion, right?
Yes.
This isn't brought up as she's being nasty about it or anything. It's just this is what she's into, and is into sharing her talents,
her craft
in a way,
And under previous rule. She was able to do this and hop town to town and bring people in and get a following and actually have a career. But now she's in this kind of parody of a career because it's this, post-Sirenist world, and they are in this very isolated part. And if not for, Pud's fixation on her, there's not really an economic, there's not money coming in and money coming out. Yeah. It's all sort of... just a parody of business, but
it's a weird ecosystem that he is creating.
And she's, finally at this point in the story, gotten to dance.
Yeah,
he's, dwelling on this money issue, and then she comes and gives him all the tip money. Kind of says, "Yeah, I know this is a false premise that we're under. I'm not a fool. I'm going to pay you back. Trust me. Word of mouth is going to spread. We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
You actually are going to make all this back, and I intend to pay you back everything. which of course kind of paints her as an angel of sorts. And here's him just repenting for all of his horrible thoughts and everything.
I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry.
Jesus.
It's so thick. This is fun.
More of the game that just goes on.
Like they're getting along now. It's kind of funny.
This is again, this is domestic life here. She's fired up. She wants to talk. She wants to tell everyone. They're in the middle of a game. This is definitely like, your old lady coming home and telling you about this and that. And you're in the middle of playing fucking World of Warcraft. Like, yeah, hon, I got it. Yeah. Sounds good. And of course,
he gets so pissed.
Understandably so. You understand everything that's happening with all of these characters. And it's not an accident. It's,
it's those misunderstandings that I feel like we all kind of have in real life.
Yes.
And it's just feels played up because of all the layers that are happening. I think like at this point we're getting not only background from him of Oscar Wilde, but like her story is being told in like 3 different ways.
Right.
At this point,
the present and the past, and I don't know, I guess her place in the world too,
Yeah, so I think that just adds to it. It's like,
and then
you're in on it.
Yeah, the background of the background story of their place via HUD. Yeah. So yeah, it is truly Jaka'S' story, as they say. Cerebus kind of, I think he's writing his goodbye letters of sorts.
He's telling him he's going to go out for paint.
Right.
And
trying to do his part because he's sick of being a lout. Or basically, if he goes out for paint, then Rick doesn't have to, and they can focus on the other thing. She's panicking because, of course, if he's out, that's like getting paint, then
he's going to get caught or he's going to die. But she kind of recouped pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, calm down, dear. It's like falling asleep with the cigarette butt.
He's a warrior. He's not going to go down that easy.
Yeah, see, he took his sword. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Skip ahead a bit here. Keeps going. He's going. This domestic life.
Yeah.
Oscar. I think this is this not the scene where he's goes and... No,
he goes
not
and
dancing
sees.
Yet.
No, so this is the before and after. He's seeing her from the outside, I think, and then is like, Rich, I have to give this note to Jaka. You have to give it to her the moment she gets home, and like, I want to see her again.
Yes, and so I think...
So they're speaking French, right? But they call it Northern?
Yeah, Northern Yestin or Sheldon. Or, they're all stand-ins, but don't ask me of what,
Yeah, like what's plugged in where.
And you hear more of Jaka'S' social upbringing, and...
I guess the countdown is the birthday. That's why it feels like a countdown. Oh, that's this dog-eared.
Yeah, I had this one dog-eared because I just love this. This is, this is kind of basic storytelling and everything, but he's getting ready to watch her dance as kind of like, I don't know, a way of like researching this story that he's writing. And you're seeing them kind of facing off with each other because it is kind of a battle in a sense. It's just a very psychic one. He has to present well, she has to present well. So they're each getting ready in their own rooms, but they're getting ready for each other. And it's like, it's not the most complicated way of communicating this idea, but it's so effective, I think. It just, what a great spread. What a great, I don't know.
It just basically, it just looks good. And you know what's happening. Again, it's clear.
This is like, how many comics are you reading that came out this year where there's like a getting dressed up montage, 2 characters trying to figure out.
And it feels strong. It doesn't feel just like, oh, they're just like in girly mode.
You completely feel like the kind of gravity of the situation.
They're donning their armor, I guess,
Yeah, away in their own kind of rooms.
Yeah.
And I think that we're sort of seeing that, we've got returning customers to the tavern, the dancing thing.
The dancing's going on.
It's kind of implied that it's worked. Oscar's taking this in. He now has this newfound respect for her. Everything is going great.
Right, exactly.
And you're kind of excited because she's been like, oh, what we're going to have you're going to get customers. All of these problems are going to kind of resolve. You're seeing the wheels turn, and the MacGuffin is painted. He's sort of telling her all the things that he's told her about her life so that the story can be written that we've been reading. And
boom. Lord Julius.
We remember Astoria from the previous, because Astoria was married to Julius, so Jaka'S essentially had to deal with her. And that's the turn right here. Like, the other shoe has dropped. These Cyrenists who we've been hearing about as a threat, you sort of see him show up, and it is horrifying immediately. Because you're in the sense of like, oh, it's working out. The whole thing is turning out fine. As they break down the doors and just immediate violence.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the funniest, dude, this part, it wasn't locked. Like, you guys didn't have to do that shit.
Right.
And then I think it does happen in this. So the vet is trying to kill these guys.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't quite turn out.
Self-defense, agreed. So they kind of judge, jury, executioners.
They have this like very Judge Dredd style, like quick decision making. So you see how methodical they are. It's not like an emotional thing for them to draw blood. Pud shot down is the proprietor of the establishment, which is sort of this lascivious place.
Dude.
They're about to draw on her, and I forgot why they. Oh yeah, she just says she has.
She has immunity somehow, and political immunity,
right? And they kind of have to say all right.
And she's married to this guy, and that's why I think this was the downfall. Is painting this is what?
Yes, that was sort of the verboten symbol that kind of brought them there. But I don't know if if they came into any tavern run by a man, as you find out, the story goes on, like. A man running this establishment that maybe isn't Cyrenist approved and having a dancer in it probably would have been a death knell for them regardless.
Yeah.
Oral Oscar trying to get his way out of.
He came back.
Look, man, I'm just here, and they're not buying him. They drag him off to 2 years hard labor, which I believe he had to go through. The real Oscar Wilde had to do. That had to do hard labor himself when he was found guilty of being whatever weird roundabout turn of the century British crime was for being gay. But they're like, yeah.
Huh.
That's how he died.
Holy
in a labor camp.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like,
damn,
really horrible. And I think it was, I mean, I don't know. Correct me in the
that's insane, dude.
Chat, tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was basically over him lusting over the character that Portrait of Dorian Gray was kind of based on.
Oh,
so man. That was one of these little Lord Fauntleroy types, and Oscar just got too big for his britches, and they took him off for being,
it was too. This was so fucking funny. I want this as a poster.
No artistic. He's telling them he's a writer, and they're just like, okay, do you have a license to write? Because I didn't know you needed one. No artistic license.
Dude, what Black Flag cover is this?
Yeah, Raymond Pettibon, hard out. So,
this was cool, man.
Oh, Jesus.
This is so gnarly.
So bleak. It's just her locked in a cell for a very long time.
I want to get your thoughts on this, apart from just the overall story.
Right.
Is the nurse story bullshit?
Oh, is it truly the nurse behind?
Because I have trust issues with the fucking Cyrenists, man.
Right. Yeah. So are they going to put a character in and say that she's Jaka'S' childhood nurse, or is it the real thing?
Yeah.
Which I guess that's for you, the reader, to decide. I guess it's ultimately unimportant. They're kind of putting her in this situation where they know they can't really do anything to her on account of the diplomatic immunity, but they can just terrorize her. And so all of this is just all this it's dungeon stuff is
it's almost like Solo meets fucking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, in a sense, where you get this like weird dark, dank setting.
Yeah,
just
do you get the darkness and the dankness here?
It's brutal, and she's just taking to this, like, I guess, like V for Vendetta vibes to it, where there's somebody in the next cell,
right, that can kind of talk to them and keep them company, and then eventually she loses that person. I mean, this is just like,
yeah, it's,
you know, again, in terms of claustrophobic and spending time in this hellhole, as far as you can communicate this in comics form. I mean, this is it. Just draw a bunch of black panels over and over again. And then get the brutality of the jail guards there. It goes on, and gets to this point where, boom! We're out of the dungeon. We're talking to this. You see Jaka'S and all disheveled little bird.
Yeah, this kind of nice cell.
Her freedom just on the horizon, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this Thatcher character comes in. I'm here to help you. You know, again, you can't help but read it in her voice.
This setup. I think this is mirroring the last panel. I don't think it's like a picture for picture. I think it's just mirroring the
her moment. You know, the story in the daughter of Palnu's story, when she's just you know, looking out the mirror looking out the window listfully. A lot of list in here. Look at the head patting, the patronizing, her basically explaining, you know, why she's wrong, how she has to accept that she's wrong, what happens if she doesn't accept that she's wrong.
Full hazing ritual here.
Absolutely. And her opinion, dancing is wrong. It's illegal. I know that, but is it wrong? So, of course, you know, you get this question of morality versus legality. And this Thatcher character just sort of addresses her down. Is wrong because it arouses prurient interest in men.
And it's just like this full on, like, this is kind of, I think, mirroring how Margaret Thatcher is sort of like not taking off the layers. I keep going back to this fucking layer reference, but it's like she's trying to break her down still. Like this whole experiment is like they break down who you are so that you stay in line, and that's kind of what's happening in the story here at this point. There's also like this like repressing sort of feeling happening throughout this like, she's like a kid, so like she's got like that childlike wonder in a sense, but there's just like this arresting, like the world doesn't accept you or something. Like that's the message I keep getting.
Right? She's kind of like under watchful eye, as you know, in this opulence, and under watchful eye in this pure squalor, you know? And you see her getting dressed up, and
like she has no agency, I guess.
Yes,
what I would say.
That sort of is a continual theme. They consume alcohol and oogle your exposed breasts, your buttocks.
Oh no!
And this conversation goes on. That is wrong. I see that we shan't be making any progress today. You know, just completely kind of mommy stating her in the worst kind of way. Even, you know, you infantilize someone and can't be surprised when they react in kind of an infantile way. And she's just getting her to admit her fault, kind of breaking her down. Keeps going on. Again, pacing. And the pacing is kind of broken up by these where you have to slow down. And this is the logs of her talking. Again, a different kind of different lettering, different font.
This person is behind the glass then, right? So are we seeing like a person in the walls right now?
Or I guess it's, I don't know, more of an interrogation of the Rick character. Maybe he has to see her in the next room. I don't know exactly. It's the point is, you know, what you get from these dialogue passages, which is that they've been sort of telling him what's what, and because basically he can go with her because they're married,
right?
But when I think doesn't look a day over 12, does she?
So gross.
Yeah, so they kind of like dressed her up as a lady to marry her off when she's 12 years old. So instead of, she thinks she's getting ready for a birthday party, she doesn't know that she's being pitched as of age, I guess you could say.
Yeah, they're complete like aristocratic kind of bullshit.
Yeah, so if you're feeling yucky, you probably should.
Yeah, it is. Like he's putting it at the face value. Like that was the grand moment that I think you keep like it's building on before that, and it's just plainly putting it out there like James Brown said it. It's like a man's world kind of thing,
right?
And even in this woman's world, it's like the complete like it's the same side or the different side of the same coin.
Yeah, because
like the flip side.
To your point, it's definitely about stripping one of agency, whether they're not able to express their sexuality or whether they're pushed into sexualization. You still are left with a lack of agency. So, again, these are sort of we're bouncing back and forth between her imprisonment and her other kind of imprisonment. Yeah. Imprisonment, her gilded cage versus her cage. Here they've cleaned up Rick into good boy mode.
She's squared away,
trying to get out of there. And this is kind of like, I don't know. I have a hard time. I understand the logic of the story. Don't get me wrong. All Rick has ever wanted is a kid. He's said it over. He said
it at the beginning, and like, yeah, that's his main character drive is to have kind of happy family. And right now, I guess what we're seeing is they are breaking down his image of his wife. I guess.
And they're sort of like, so he is motivated to have a kid. Personally, I just, we'll get to it here. They've sort of revealed in so many ways that Jaka, what we saw even earlier in the book, where she's like, Cerebus is like, hey, where was your kid? She's like, well, he had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
The miscarriage was kind of brought about by these herbs. We could call them, abortion pills of sorts. She essentially, as revealed by the Sirenus, terminated the baby. I somewhat implied maybe that it was, I guess in the context of the story, if we're talking about agency, motherhood is another kind of trap that maybe she didn't want to be in or wanted to be a dancer for a little while longer. Now, I guess you're left with a very difficult situation as the reader, because on one hand, I don't know, I'm just so hard and fast in my belief of a woman's right to choose, I guess, that I don't have any shade of gray, any nuance, anything in it. I just think if it's something in a woman's body, that's hers. She can do anything she wants to, whatever is in her body at any time. And that's just that's one of those issues I have. That's just a black and white way of thinking, and I can't really budge on. So for you to make me sympathize with Rick because Jaka made the choice that she made, and basically becomes a they call that an untenable situation, right? Where he thinks he could have had a kid, but the kid was robbed from him, and it would have been a boy. And
like his dream life, and it lands right there.
And you killed my son, and he
whacks her. Like, how is? Well, I guess under this rule, it's like,
I mean, you're supposed to and from a structural standpoint, I understand as the way the story works in here, that would crack him and break him and shatter him and make him lash out and make him never want to see her again, etc. But like, I don't know. It's not my favorite literary device.
No,
I guess you could say.
Man, I don't think it's. I thought it was like kind of out of. It was unnecessary for his character in a way,
right?
Where I don't think he would have actually. He does not seem like that kind. Like, he's not like that good guy,
right?
Kind of like, oh, dude, like, he's a good guy. Like, he would never. There's just no inklings of him having this kind of violence.
Yeah, or you could even say just like taking the Cyranists' word for it. Like, it's not. It's not great.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, I guess to your point earlier, just sort of suspend your disbelief and go with it. And it's like, okay, I guess that I'll just accept that that's how the story goes.
This is where I feel it's heading towards like novella style storytelling,
right? Just very melodrama for sure,
and it works to drive it. I'm not.
It is an ending, and I'll give that. It's not just like you two can't see each other, and you can't. That's why you can't see each other.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. The motivation is put early on. Like, it circles around, it punctuates the story. You're left
like, so he gets his comeuppance. They don't let him just get away with what he just did.
Yeah, on principle. This is a matriarchy of sorts. So striking a woman is one of the cardinal sins. So he gets his as well, but ultimately. And this is
wild,
insane. He comes back with the white paint that he went out for.
Yeah.
He sees the broken MacGuffin once again.
His sword in hand. I didn't see that earlier.
Yeah, just like he must have taken some time with that one, and given it that splash page, it has that gravity to it. Like, Cerebus' whole world is now,
it's
once again upended. Just look at that, man. The two open cells.
That's
the nurse, quote unquote,
with TB
cell.
We'll see. I don't know,
and
or never see, I guess.
Yeah, we're just now you're just kind of back in Lord Julius's estate, and the maids are talking about her and trying to kind of come to terms.
Talking mad shit on her.
Yeah, for sure. But again, you hear about her through her. The hired help, and this girl comes to talk to her and can't really even muster the words because she's heard so many things. And there's that mirror image again of her looking out the window, kind of despondent. And thus is the fucking bleak downer of an ending. That is Jaka'S' story.
Man. This one was very dark, and here's just the back. I always like seeing the back.
You see the issue.
That's what's coming up next, man.
The other issues. I got some.
Let's do it. So cover time.
We'll just flip through these real quick.
How was Jaka'S' story? If you guys have any insights, or if you want to call us out on anything, like
Yeah, we gotta
add us.
If you two, tell us if you think it's worth it to read this many pages of.
We're still trying to figure that out
of Cerebus to get to that conclusion. So we'll just have a little fun with some pictures as we kind of wind down here. That story just means the world to me, man. I have I don't know. Rereading it, like,
these are cool.
I know everything that's happening in it. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's like it's just literature, man. It's just like a real book. These places are all very real and lived in. I think they must. If this isn't the fourth time I've read it, I think it's about the fourth time I read it, and it hits so hard. I immediately was just like, oh, this is going to be good. As soon as I cracked it open, like, again, it's widely regarded as like the pinnacle of Cerebus. I might like Melmoth a little better, if I'm being honest. I mean, I guess compared to the earlier stuff that you've read, how do you hold it up? Do you understand
This one feels very potent, like that when I feel like I'm saying, oh yeah, he's like at the height of his powers or whatever. It sounds like abstract, but it does feel like he's got his storytelling style locked in.
It is.
And it's still new to relative to the other books. This is a new way of storytelling, and it's just like he's just like throwing his bag of tricks out there.
Yeah, it hits hard. It hits so different than almost anything I've read. You know, like, I mean, yeah, it is melodrama. It is, you know, soap opera. It is dramatic, but I don't know if there's like comics that have that play style quality, a theatrical stage like quality, to the point where these are the covers of the comics. This is what they're selling a comic book to the public about. Man. Once again, this is sitting next to maybe the most like, some of the more cerebral works would be like Swamp Thing or something. Wow, you know, like there's not a lot else on the shelves that have this. So I don't know that this goes to superhero guys. It's like this and ElfQuest. Like, what are we talking about here? There's that frame that you like so much. They knew what they were doing.
So cool. So Gerhard, more levels and reflections. A friend who saw the cover asked me how the hell I draw water. I said that I don't know. I just do it until it looks like water.
Fuckers, evil fuckers, pieces of shit, fucking
He's
assholes.
Literally just saying, yeah, I can do it. You guys can't. Oh, dude. So this was issue 123,
123, 124.
Wow.
And kind of, I don't know. I never know. I feel like I would want to see like the finished one with the logo next to these, but then you'd double the page count.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can just imagine what it would look like with the Cerebus on it.
Even if they had like just a little one there.
Yeah, but then you got a little thumbnail marking. There's no right way to do it, you know?
Yeah, unless you wanted a volume.
Yeah, and to have to fit 300 on there.
That's a cool cover, man.
Very cool cover if you know, like, what's going on.
You know, I think you lose setting when you're reading the story sometimes. Yeah. And like, I think that it would have helped me to see the covers as like putting me back in it. But I mean, that's just personal preference. It wasn't totally like a detriment or anything. It's just, there was one time where I was like, oh man,
where exactly
what spot is this? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a small claustrophobic kind of story. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I guess you just kind of got
it. It feels like that, man.
I imagine they just didn't have the original art for this, so they included the scan. And I mean, yeah, it is very cool seeing the paste ups and the mock ups, but I kind of prefer it as a final product, you know. But like I said, there's that the treasury exists at all is a minor miracle. Directed by Quentin Tarantino here.
Yeah, seriously. Dude, and this guy right here, that's a Quentin Tarantino character. That was so funny.
And that's the turning point. They know that. It's so fucked. Craft, bro. Craft.
It wasn't locked.
Look at this nut.
That's crazy.
How do you put this on the shelves?
I know. But if you're reading this and you're going to the comic book store on a semi-weekly basis, you're in. You're fully in, and you get why this cover hits.
It must drive you mad. See, this is like you get a little insight into Dave's mind here. Over the centuries, a lot of people were actually imprisoned in hellholes like this in pitch darkness for decades. As 21st century G7 citizens, even pretending to be victims of any kind seems ludicrous to me. You aren't a victim. You're a pampered and privileged beneficiary, whosoever you are.
Oh, wow.
Which is like,
damn.
You know, what are the kids saying these days? Just put the fries in the bag.
Dude.
Okay, Uncle Dave.
Sorry, I fucking asked, dude.
Yeah. But once again, this is the book that collects the covers of your funny aardvark story, right?
Man.
So, I mean, I don't know. Again, Dave has a point of view. You don't have to agree with it.
Wait a minute.
It exists. So this is the issue where the nurse is there and she's...
I might be reading too much into that, but is this saying...
Well, this is after she's taken out.
Oh, right. She got killed. She got murked.
Right.
I don't know. They got me fucked up.
Man. I like this theory. I like that you're putting thoughts into it.
I'm thinking
that's not a bad call. I mean, like I said, they're trying to torture her.
I'll see if I can find the remember they have like a silhouette of her,
right?
And why use the silhouette? Why not just show?
We gotta go broad strokes here. We're trying to communicate, personal anguish and suffering.
You fucking coward, Dave! Come on.
The nuts and bolts of these things. The ambiguity is. No,
he's got a story to tell,
affected.
And It's like, I know at the end of this, it's going to be dark. I know it's going to be dark.
He's clearly not afraid to. But it's not. It's dark, but it's not edgy. It's not bleakness for bleakness' sake. You're connected to these characters, which is why it hits.
It hits. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know of a way to connect to these characters without like the sheer volume. This is a lot of pages that we read so far of this story, and thus. You're connected to these characters, thus you care when they get dragged off and killed. But it's still fucking bleak, man.
It's dark.
This is what I like. See, this is what I'm talking about. Give me the story and then give us a little.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Maybe that's how I wanted it.
But a little thumbnail thing, right there.
Show me the mock-ups with
with 2 quotes. Like that's why not every page, y'all.
Yeah, I love it. I really do enjoy this.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah, the final showdown of her.
Dude, them being in green kind of adds a lot.
Yeah, right?
Actually,
I mean, I guess it's like, you want to show them as prisoners. Why not, show them... Why do you have to do, like, the black and white prison stripe thing? Why wouldn't Cerebus have a different
do something like that
color for prisoners? And, this, like, kind of intimidation of their enforcers, size-wise, is a lot. And I think... I don't know what the epilogue, we've read that or not, but epilogue 1, epilogue 2, look at that.
That's so cool.
That's dark. That's
so
that's
cool.
Just that story of them kind of, what do you call it, having their servants talk about her behind her back.
Damn.
Yeah.
So making this plate. They're literally making because she burns the toast, and
this little lemon
the lemon wedge is old.
What the hell else is on the shelves right now? What is this next to?
This is Wolverine is next to this. This is wild, man. Like
you got the She-Hulk era of Fantastic Four. Yeah. You got
damn, that's crazy.
What the hell? It might be Crisis on Infinite Earths. Don't quote me there.
Wow. I mean, this is definitely not getting this. Let me see. Like maybe what age group would you be hitting this at? Like
80 octogenarians.
I don't know. Maybe maybe I could see if I were a 16-year-old, maybe like theater kid. And I would go to a fucking comic book store, see what they got. This is something maybe I'd pick up. Maybe that's in your wheelhouse or
and
something.
All you get in this issue that drew you in is a story about maids talking shit about some lady you have no idea about.
And you're like, ooh, the intrigue.
And then you pick up a Punisher comic and the first page, it's like Frank Castle's family was murdered. Now he kills people. This is Frank Castle. He has a skull on his chest. He's going to be going through here.
Here's the breakdown of his gun.
I wish my family didn't die. Now I got to kill Jigsaw.
I got to bring him to justice.
Okay, which of these 2 stories is going to make sense to you, the 16-year-old theater kid or otherwise? It's
man.
It's a lot to get into, man.
I got some taste. This is a teen with taste right here. I guess
some pinky.
Yeah, right there. Dude. Well, I enjoyed. If it ends here, if you're telling me that this is the top of his game, I'm sure it gets better art wise. Maybe it starts going into some dark Dave Simisms. I am down. I want to see how weird he gets.
It definitely, you get a lot of Sim. You get deep into his brain and deep into whatever he's interested in at any time. And I think that is like, if I could draw a parallel to the great Ed Piskor, I think what Ed's stuff did that kind of reminds me of Sims is it has this kind of undulating quality where you could just tell that the author was particularly interested in the subject and just wanted to communicate that subject to you. For his score, it might be, computer hacking with the WYSIWYG, or it might be hip hop with Hip Hop Family Tree, or just here's all the shit that happened in X-Men, just a kind of fixation on a singular subject, and then a communication of that fixation and what made that story interesting to the reader. And I think Sim does something similar, where it's like, definitely in the next issue, which we can kind of tease out, I guess, if you want to call it teasing, or your marching orders for next week.
That's the next one,
we're doing Melmoth. Here, this is just him reading way too many Oscar Wilde biographies and kind of like fixating on Oscar Wilde. So in a sense, this is like Oscar Wilde grand design, before there was such a thing.
And he goes deep dive. So this is kind of like where art meets science, I guess.
In a sense, or just, like I said, as these different phone books, they have usually a tight focus on one issue or one subject. And, Jaka'S story is obviously him kind of fleshing out this daughter of Palnu and what being raised in opulence is like. And I don't know, maybe the contrast between that and this sort of Cyrenist theocracy that the world has shifted to, how that looks. And of course, that's the backdrop of the Oscar Wilde story. But, that will shift to him getting fixated on, the Three Stooges, or on, Ernest Hemingway gets a good chunk of the story. So Cerebus is very rarely, the focal point. From here on out, it is sort of like, what is Dave into this few years of his life? Which is the other crazy thing to think. I mean, we pod through that. That's like however many issues. This is 138 to 120, 114, 14 minus 38. That's 24. Am I wrong?
Damn. No, so that's somewhere in there.
So that's 2 years of his life. He is just sitting in this fucking town with Gerhard drawing all the interiors.
Damn, that's
because you could breeze through this in an evening.
Yeah, you could. This is not, the Church and State ones were a little headier, I would say, even though this has probably like a higher word count.
Yeah, all the text blocks and everything.
It's easy to actually. It's not hard. See, this is how I think he draws you in. He writes very well.
Right. Yeah,
he's not writing like shit. It's not like a marathon. Like, I don't think he's writing just because he likes the sound of his own voice. Maybe that goes into play, but like it's interesting enough where I'm like, okay, I'm leaning in. Like, what do you got going on?
It is. It's worth the time it takes, but that is still 2 years of him publishing 22-ish pages a month, drawing it, printing it. Just not distributing it, but having it sent to the distributors, waiting for the fucking checks to come back to him. Going to cons, fucking trying to promote it, doing press.
It make you a little. I mean, could you really be drinking your own Kool-Aid in that state at that point? Like, is he kind of getting into like some weird K-hole of his own?
Oh yeah, making, like everyone has their different take on Sim and what he is and who he is and everything. And I've made it pretty clear that I disagree with a lot of, or we share different world views, and I don't think, other people have died in dungeons before, so you as first world people shouldn't feel, victims of anything. I don't think that's like a very deep statement. Right. An aside of nothing, but I actually weirdly had a conversation like this recently with a friend of mine who was kind of like, we're having the, probably a conversation a lot of people are having right now of like reevaluating patriotism, let's say, and our feelings about being Americans, and he's very firmly like in a valid argument, which is like, okay, yeah, America sucks, but compared to what? What else do you got? Go somewhere, go to another country, go to see how they're living in other places, and then see how you're living. And I understand that argument. It's not wrong, but I guess it's just like not good enough for me of an excuse.
Yeah,
like
for sure. It's not.
Other people living shittier, more corrupted lives, I would argue, is a direct result of colonialism and imperialism that has propped up American luxury.
Yeah.
You know.
But what are the values, or like what are the? Because I everyone you ask has, or a lot of people have that sentiment, like, you know, like, you want to go to some third world country where they have to like do this or that, and I don't think that's valid because that's just kind of like, that's one of those tactics where you're like, you're throwing the issue away. You know, like,
it would be, I don't know, I guess it wouldn't be worth grappling with if it wasn't kind of true. You know, it's like,
sure, yeah,
yes.
But that's a bullshit answer, though. That's like a bullshit answer, because I would argue that I have friends that are in bands that like do not live in the U.S. A lot of them talk so much shit on their own countries,
right?
But they're super, super happy, and it's like they tour in the U.S. They have the ability to come out here and live here and work here if they wanted to, but they don't want to because it's just a different set of values, and also it's their roots. There's so many different.
Yeah, I mean, your home is your home, and your culture is your culture, and what you're born into you don't really have much of a say in. You know,
you just accept it. And
I'm aggressively acclimated to like a fucking 30-mile radius, you know? Like
North County is not very big.
Yeah, and like
same, by the way.
Yeah, if you put me like just a couple notches outside of that, I start to itch a little. So you
fucking hate going up to Orange County. Bullshit.
Yeah, if I go somewhere where I can't get a good burrito, I fucking
fuck that, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking do that shit.
Hell no.
Like, you know, it's and I didn't have much of again. I was born here, so it is what it is.
But what were you like?
Okay,
where are you with that argument?
Goddamn point here is that, you know, I don't necessarily agree with Sim's arguments. I don't think that because people have been imprisoned elsewhere that, like, you know, you can't complain, or, you know, you're not a victim by being in this. I can disagree with him on points, but regardless, he has a fucking perspective, and he has a goddamn craft and skill and level of I don't know, I guess he's able to convey his perspective in an engaging enough way to the point where agree with it, disagree with it, maybe it works for me, maybe it doesn't. That's besides the point. I just really appreciate him sharing it, frankly, and being very honest, because he knows he's an iconoclast. He knows that he's alienating everyone by putting his thoughts out there, but he still does it. And it's like, I've read so many interviews. I've gone so deep in this guy's brain, and like, I could still say I don't agree with much of what he says, even very little of what he says, but I just am so enamored with his skills as an artist, and I'm enamored with this world, this achievement that he made, this world that he made, that it's like, I don't know, I don't really have to agree, or I like how fucking off kilter he is. I don't really care about Ernest Hemingway or Oscar Wilde or the Three Stooges or the Bible or any of this stuff. I'm not like,
but fixated. His take on it,
his fascination with it is fascinating to me. The way he talks about it,
his use of those things that we all know about, that's what I like a lot about his about the way he uses those characters, is like, he's pulling you in because of who they are. It's adding to his story that he's trying to tell you. In that way.
I've seen so little of Groucho Marx stuff. Putting him in
that shit,
having him be the character. Like, I've seen more Lord Julius than Groucho Marx. Put it that way.
Would you though? Like, do you know like the isms of?
Oh yeah, obviously
that kind of thing.
Look, I don't know. Look. Y'all can have clicked off a long time ago. I can rant here, you know, like, I find it...
This is for the real ones right here.
Yes, I find it one of the great cruelties of my life that I was raised in like the Animaniacs era, where I would just be seeing, like, even with Looney Tunes, the predecessor to that, like these references to fucking silent film and like, you know, one of the key characters in fucking Animaniacs is these pigeons that are based on the Goodfellas, which is a movie that no fucking fifth grader at the time, I was probably in 5th or 6th grade, would have ever seen. Yeah. Watch Garfield and Friends. Hey everyone, watch Garfield and Friends. I loved Garfield and Friends with a burning passion.
It was such a nice, like very, I remember that one. That's like, you would get the home life of Garfield and John, but you would also go to the farm animals and stuff like that.
Based on U.S. Acres, the strip that Jim, what's his name? Jim,
not Jim Varney. Jim, is it Phillips or something like that? I don't remember his name.
Jeez, that sucks.
I remember Garfield.
People are going to
Jim Davis.
Jim fucking Davis.
Jim Davis. He tried to respect on his name.
Put fucking respect on Jim Davis' name, even if I didn't. Yeah, he tried to get another hit with U.S. Acres, but given the amount of people talk about Garfield and the amount of people talk about U.S. Acres, I think we could say that the U.S. Acres experiment didn't quite pan out. But point being, watching that show, loving that show, what the fuck were they referencing? There's like
Spielberg. What was he thinking? Like, was it Tiny Toons? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, same thing.
So like,
just like all these references to like old timey fucking shit that no kid has any reality. Or that one, like even watching Looney Tunes reruns, like on, you know, the syndicated ones, like they would be lampooning these like celebrities,
like Clark Gables or whatever,
fucking Bing Crosby, and like, you know them more as Looney Tunes than you do the characters. Who's the guy that talks like this?
I was literally just thinking about that guy, the crazy eyeball, like the glassy looking eyeballs.
Yeah, that guy is a fucking central character to my childhood. I've never fucking watched a goddamn movie with him in it.
I can't tell you what his name is. He's just a creepy guy from Looney Tunes.
If I watched a movie now, I wouldn't be like, oh, what a great performance. I would say, oh, this is that guy from fucking Looney Tunes.
This is why he was immortalized.
Why the fuck is this in my life? So in that sense, yes, I'm very familiar with Groucho Marx as fucking parodied by endless fucking streams of children's shows made about 40 or 50 years after the fucking fact of these goddamn...
that they were around even.
Yeah, no, there's no reason why I should know Groucho Marx, having not watched Groucho Marx material. But yeah, Lord Julius, I'm very familiar with all of the Groucho Marxisms.
And he has those,
via children's cartoons written by 50-plus-year-old Jewish writers.
And would have been written after this, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is more. This is a forerunner in parodying.
So crazy.
Old-timey black and white public domain.
So he was literally alienating probably 80% of people reading comics.
Yeah, I guess I know Groucho through Gilbert Gottfried's impression of old Groucho.
He's just pissed off.
Happy would come on, and he always wanted biscuits on set. Oh wow, Groucho, that's a great story. Any other stories from the old times?
He's just gone. He's just gone.
I might have saying bullshit now. Gilbert Gottfried's impression of old Groucho. The fucking Howard Stern would just make him do at gunpoint on his show. Talk about fucking alienating people. I think we're doing a bit of this ourselves now.
Man.
Listen.
We're in some weird territory here.
Coming up. Next up on the War on Comics, the war wages on, my friends. We're going to be looking at some Ditko. We're going to be looking at some Jack Kirby. We're going to be looking at the next installment of Cerebus. We're going to be looking at ourselves. We're going to be doing some self-examination.
We're going to be reassessing some things.
We're going to. It's coming to a head, everyone.
Hey man, so stay tuned.
Yeah, at ease.
At ease.